Please be advised there are spoilers ahead related to the property being watched and or discussed. Hello! Welcome back. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. This is Ashamoji TV. My name is Asha. If you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome! This is my fourth round of binge watching of a couple of episodes from the first season of Fringe. And in this video, I am happy to share with you my condensed reaction to episode number 7. This one is titled, In Which We Meet Mr. Jones. But of course, before I show you my reaction, let me just give you somewhat of an informal recap as to what I understood in my last binge watch of episodes 5 and 6. So let's start with number 5, and that was, I call, Electro Man episode. So it's about a guy who was being experimented on by some crazy scientist, and apparently he had the powers manifest to control electricity somewhat. And in terms of the story with regards to Olivia, the main revelation on that end was her seeing hallucinations or visions of John Scott, her dead ex-lover, FBI agent. Yeah. And more or less at the end of the episode, it's revealed that Walter had an idea as to what was going on with her even before she even admitted to him that she was seeing him. And apparently it's based on the fact that when she tried to save him in episode 1 in that tank, his consciousness imprinted onto hers. That's what I've understood so far. It's been explained in different ways, but at the moment, I'm just articulating it out like that. So in a nutshell, you know, his consciousness still lingers in her mind, and according to Walter, her mind is trying to expel him, but it's up to her to make the conscious decision for him to be expelled out of her mind. But considering the fact that at the end of the episode, she finds a ring, an engagement ring that he had left behind in his personal effects, I think it's going to be harder than it seems for her to expel him out of her mind. And so I guess I should expect at this point, perhaps John Scott will show up at different points in the story, likely to help her solve the case of the week or of the day, whatever. That's what I'm concluding. And so I think that's kind of a really interesting way to not only keep a character around, but also add more to the story where it's just not Walter and Peter helping her out. You know, there's the consciousness of John Scott. And speaking of the consciousness of John Scott, I want to thank one of you on my YouTube channel. I apologize, I can't remember the username, but you nicely clarified some very, very important details that completely went over my head from episode 1 and my misunderstanding of what really was going on, likely with John, where I thought he was being reanimated by Nina and Massive Dynamic, but essentially it was along the lines of what Walter mentioned in that episode, where they were extracting data from his mind before a 6-hour period of time, where the body would probably be too dead, or the brain would be maybe too dead, in order to extract information with their super tech, right? Okay, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I think the more I keep talking, more I might confuse myself unwittingly. Okay, so then we have episode 6. That's where I last left off, and that was The Cure. Very interesting episode, a very highly charged episode, where the Bishops and Olivia track down this missing lady who is basically being experimented on by another corporation, a pharmaceutical corporation, where they want to turn her into some kind of radioactive bioweapon of some sort. And the revelation related to the Olivia storyline, because it's 2 storylines, right, that I'm trying to follow along with. You know, we have the case of the week, Olivia, and whatever is being given out in terms of detail about Peter and Walter's relationship and their background. So when it comes to Olivia, we find out that she had a very abusive stepfather who every birthday sends her a card taunting her and teasing her because she didn't pull that final trigger on him when he last attacked her family, or her mother more or less. And that was really upsetting, but at the same time kind of exciting, because I cannot wait to see who is going to be this stepfather. And I am 100% sure, not because anybody spoiled it for me, but because of the way they told the story, that that's going to be an integral part of her character development. This confrontation with this person from her past that has added to her trauma growing up And so I think that's exciting, and I look forward to seeing it whenever they show it, hopefully soon rather than later. Now, on the other hand, we have Peter, who tries to help Olivia figure stuff out with the case by going to Nina from Massive Dynamic and asking for a favor. And in return, she asks him to do her a favor in the future with no questions asked. And I was like, no, Peter, no, don't do it. But of course, he does it. And I look forward to seeing that drama because I have a feeling it's going to be a favor he is not going to want to say yes to, but he'll have no choice and it'll create all kinds of problems or maybe a solution. I don't know. Either way. I like the interpersonal dramas between the characters amidst the action and all that science stuff that's going on. And with that being said, I want to put out a massive thank you to all of you who have been so kind enough to engage in the comment section with spoiler-free comments, apparently, because I have a moderator assigned to my channel specifically for my reactions to Fringe. And so if they've removed your comment, and of course that leaves me not seeing it, it's likely because there is some kind of spoiler element to your comment. And so please don't take it personal. Reword your comment if necessary. Just be very mindful that what I personally consider a spoiler, if this helps at all, is if whatever you say in your comment gives me some idea of what to expect in future episodes. So as an example, I mentioned in my reaction to episode 1 that I'm aware that Leonard Nimoy is going to be in the show at some point, but I don't know who he's playing, right? So don't tell me who he's going to play or even what kind of character he's going to play. That's a spoiler because then it gives me an expectation. So hopefully that's some point of reference to give you an idea what I consider a spoiler. Now, when it comes to corrections about something I've misunderstood in a previous episode, where the details of the actual answers are in the episode itself, that I do not see as a spoiler. So you're more than welcome to say, okay, you know what? Walter said this, or Peter said that, or Olivia said whatever that leads to this logical conclusion based on the evidence shown in the actual episode. I am totally fine with that. In fact, I welcome that so that it helps me as I keep watching these episodes not to get too misinformed about everything, because even on a rewatch, I cannot guarantee I'll pick up on all those details. So corrections based on the details in the episode, totally fine. I hope that's clear. All right, enough of my babbling. Here's my reaction to episode 7 from the first season of Fringe. Curious to know who Mr. Jones is going to be.
We're in position. Standing by. Southman quiet. Bravo, status. All quiet, sir.
I'm like thinking, mission of the week, Aquaman? Something related to water.
We have Tango in sight.
Maybe not.
All teams, move out.
Panda bears? I assume you checked inside them.
Oh, really? That's it, huh? Panda bears.
Joseph Smith began working for the shipping company a week before the container was packed. He had access to the container. He's also got a science background.
The weight of the container after pickup was 1,306 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
The weight when it arrived in Germany before shipping, 1,299.
Something's happening to him.
Pounds? What the hell weighs 7 pounds? But you...
Panda bear contamination. I love the realism.
What is that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Nope. Nope. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not sure what I saw except for some kind of teeth.
It wasn't a heart attack. At least not in the traditional sense. They've cordoned off the area, but ID's been here already, said the thing isn't communicable.
The thing?
We'll get to that.
Do you have any PO?
No, Walter.
Communicable.
No, later.
Dr. Bishop, what you're about to see, I don't know if you've seen anything like it before, but I'm hoping you have. I'm hoping you can help.
I'm sure he can.
He's a friend.
See. Do you have any mints?
Say yes. Oh, that would have been funny if he's like, here you go. Take a minute.
This is spectacular.
Spectacular. I'm sure he'd be just thrilled to hear your diagnosis.
Do you know what that is? Your work or your old experiments? Does that look
Familiar? No, couldn't be more aberrational. I'm simply admiring the design.
It's purring.
Design that seems to envelop the entire human heart.
Feeding off the heart?
Series of tendrils, root system. Don't you see it? How beautiful this is.
Not so much, no.
Do you think you can remove it?
Oh, I'd be willing to try, but not here. My birth is atrocious.
Somebody give him a mint.
Two things occurred to me on the journey from the hospital. One, we could be dealing with something as simple as Giardia duodenalis.
As simple as that, really?
It's a single-celled parasite that lives in the intestines of animals. Common waterborne illness.
So you're saying that that thing in his
Is
chest...
a parasite? Yes, perhaps, but with an exceptional means of attachment. This creature is unlike anything I've seen before, so we won't be able to truly examine it until it's removed.
It's like a heart vampire.
You said the two things occurred to you. What's the other one?
Oh. I would still really like some gum or some mints. Thank you, Peter.
Okay. A little late there. Should have given it to him way before then.
I'm with Homeland Security.
Samantha, I'm hoping you can help me. No one will tell me anything.
I can tell you that there's a doctor here who is uniquely qualified to save your husband's life.
That's a good way to put it.
This was in his bag, among the things he brought back from Frankfurt.
We'll check it out. Thank you.
Can I see Mitchell? Please.
As soon as possible. I promise you that.
The VFX is okay. Aged better than I would expect.
I'm gonna give him some cyclobenzaprine. Parasite is constricting.
This might listen its threat.
It's a gamble, but I like the theory. Excellent work, son. You may have found your true calling at last. Working with me.
I certainly hope not.
Yeah. Season 5 comes around, they're like starting an LLC.
This is fascinating.
What?
We can assume that this growth, this parasite, is of human design, yes?
Okay.
I was looking for repetition, the signature of the creator.
I don't understand.
Well, that puts you in the same group as the rest of humanity. What he's trying to say is we found this.
See that?
So you're saying that someone put in this line of DNA on purpose? Why?
Mischief, arrogance, we don't know.
Should have given him bubble gum.
I studied cryptology even before I joined the Bureau. I was obsessed as a kid. There's a sequence of 3 letters that appears repeatedly in the parasite's DNA. It could be CIW, or DJX, or EKY.
Or ZFT?
Yeah, CFT fits. What is that?
I've been reviewing.
And
And one of them that I remember was an operation tracking a group working on Budapest. The name on file, what was written, was ZFT. That means something to you?
Photographic memory indeed.
a month ago, a man British national named David Robert Jones was arrested in Frankfurt, Germany by Interpol in possession of state secrets. He's a senior fellow at the Bremen Institute for 12 years, then went off the grid. He'd show up now and then, also in Eastern Europe.
So you think he's EFT?
I don't know. Loeb did. It was one of the reasons he was in Frankfurt, investigating Jones. Agent Dunham, there is much you have not been made aware of regarding the pattern.
Of course.
Well, I'm here. I have time.
And so do I. Come on, chitter chatter. They need like 5 coffee sessions or something.
What we've learned so far is the following. There are cells, we don't know how many, privately funded with presence in 83 recorded countries. ZMT is among them.
So they're terrorists.
But not in a conventional sense. They traffic not in drugs or weapons, but in scientific progress.
So that thing we found in Loeb could be one of those experiments. Do you think that Jones would tell us how to remove it?
He might, if we were allowed to see him.
And he's being kept in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
I may be able to get in.
You got superpowers you aren't telling me about?
Maybe.
Let me save you the trip, Dunham. You're not getting in.
We don't know each other well enough for you to say something like that to me.
Yeah.
And I don't see any other option here, do you, sir?
That's a great line.
And I promised his wife.
Oh man, Olivia. She is something else. I love her.
What's wrong?
This may be something of an understatement, but he is not doing well. Dehydrated.
Walter, come here. What is that?
This parasite is spreading faster than I thought.
How long do you think he's got?
Day, maybe.
That's scary.
Hey,
Hi, so the good news is I think we have a lead. The bad news is I have to go to Germany to see him.
I don't think that's the bad news. He's dying, Olivia. I don't think we're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it. I'll call you when I land. Look at you.
Well, don't let the suit throw you.
Wow, Lucas. I never thought I'd see the day.
It's more comfortable than the military uniform.
Another person she had a relationship with?
Oh, what did you find?
I know the warden. He wouldn't agree to anything. He didn't want me to show up.
So, what do we do?
Show up.
What can I do for you, Lucas?
Olivia Dunham. This is Johan Lennox.
Thank you for seeing us.
You want time with a prisoner?
David Robert Jones.
This will be a problem.
I'm sure we can work something out.
Even if I were to give the okay, Mr. Jones talks to no one.
I have reason to believe he will talk to me. If I write him a message, will you give it to him?
Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones.
But I am grateful for whatever you can do in this case.
Sorry?
I was just saying I'm grateful for your work.
You're most welcome. You know, I had a fruit cocktail once in Atlantic City. Mind you, I'm not the fruit cocktail sort of guy.
Excuse me.
Yeah, just Walter being Walter.
We need to discuss your father.
Is it the fruit cocktail thing again? Yeah, he's been doing that recently. He gets obsessed about certain foods. It's weird.
We need him to focus.
To say that he's not focused is to say that he's a biped. Which is to say, you're absolutely right. He's not focused. And also, it's not going to change anytime too soon. I'm his son. I'm not a puppeteer. I don't have a remote control. There's no master switch I can flick and turn him into the man I wish had raised me, or even somebody I don't have to babysit every day.
Drop mic.
I guess I've had that on my mind for a while.
Apparently. Broyles, Charlie Francis. Speaking.
We analyzed the document Lowe brought back from Frankfurt. We figured out
Each line corresponds to an FBI case file and an ID number for the agent or agents assigned to it. Every one of them originating from this field office.
Another mole in this office? You said local connection.
Yeah, one of the lines is a phone number registered to a Joseph Smith. Now we have him done.
Yeah, I know Joseph Smith. You got an address?
Hold on. 4331 Broad Street, Saugus. 4331 Broad Street. I'll call you back.
Dum
Mr.
dum dum.
Boyles, I want a SWAT team surrounding Joseph Smith. He's at 4331 Broad Street in Saugus, and I want this radio silent.
What's Peter gonna do?
I'm surprised. He'll see you. Tomorrow morning, you'll have 14 minutes, not a second more. Mr. Jones wanted you to have this.
Hello?
Peter, it's me. I'm looking for Boyles. Is he there?
No, he's on some sort of raid.
Jones has agreed to talk with me tomorrow morning, but only on the condition that he first gets to talk to a colleague of his. So, we're looking for a guy local to Boston. His name's Saugus.
He's in what?
His name's Joseph Smith.
Wow.
Peter, we need him alive.
I'm wondering if they should have called this episode in which we meet Mr. Joseph Smith instead.
But you've got to get someone down there right now. Please. You need to get the message to them. They need to keep Joseph Smith alive.
For a guy that's a common denominator, I highly doubt he'd make himself so easily findable.
Are you close?
Yeah, I'm here, but I can't get any closer to the house. We're already inside.
On the roof! On the roof!
Peter?
Yeah. Oh boy, Mr. Jones is gonna be mad.
Bishop, what are you doing here?
Well, I just got off the phone with Olivia. She's headed back to the airport. Turns out Mr. Jones would only help us if he could talk to Mr. Smith. The same Mr. Smith that your people just killed.
You're kidding.
First serious thing I've said all day.
Second serious thing.
Hello?
Peter, hey, it's Astrid. Your father wanted me to inform you that there is fluid accumulating in Agent Loeb's lungs.
Let me talk to him. Hello, Peter. This is me, your father, Walter Bishop.
Thank you, Walter. I know who you are.
Excellent. We need to talk to that man Smith right away. He may be our best chance to save Agent Loeb's life.
I know that. He's dead. He was shot. We're out of luck.
And perhaps in this case, death is simply an inconvenience. Bring him in, and hurry. Agent Loeb's tissue is already deteriorating, which makes it exponentially messier.
I've become, and I'm not kidding, a spectacular cook. Spend the night.
Wow, that is bold.
I can't, Lucas.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
Temptation. It's a bitch.
Donna.
Does Jones know about Smith?
What?
Does David Jones know that Joseph Smith is dead?
No. Why?
If you can still get in to see him tomorrow, he may not have to.
He's been shot in the head. Is that a problem? Yes, that's a problem.
I've never had a conversation with a dead guy before. Forgive me if I don't know the rules.
Is this going to work or not?
Thanks, Astrid.
I'll need to alter the procedure. And I'm not making any promises.
Because the data they would get from his mind could be corrupted or false. Is that why?
Human brain is like a computer. Brain just needs electricity to function, which the body ceases to produce upon death. Which is why we're keeping his body cool to retard degeneration. Oh, Peter! Everyone has a unique tolerance to electrical stimulation. Mine, for instance, is remarkably high. Yours, Peter, unusually low. That's for our friend here. We don't know. So I
You
will
used
have
to do this to me. You attached wires to car batteries and then you would shock me.
Yes, I was accumulating data.
No, you were experimenting on me.
I called it from before, yeah.
This will register any brain activity, and this will indicate if he's transmitting any thoughts to you. Since he's dead, Peter, you'll obviously have to be his ears and mouth. Eventually, you'll connect this to your head.
It's actually a decent picture.
Oh, Peter. He's talking to you.
Or not.
It's a good thing it wasn't attached to your head.
Not kidding. Looked into it.
Oh, yeah.
I have.
Olivia.
Whoever it was who broke your heart, or am I misreading you?
He was my partner from the Bureau. He betrayed me, betrayed the job, and he died. That's the end.
Pretty good summary.
I think about you so often, and I don't call because I'm ashamed of how I treated you.
Kiss and make up? I don't know. I just hope this is relevant. Okay, good. Because I was like, what did you think he wanted? To talk? Sorry. Well, at least she'll get some release in some form. Both of them. Woo! Moving on.
I have to get this.
I hate whoever that is.
Hello.
Hey, you're not going to believe this because I'm not really sure that I do, but I think this might actually work.
Walter figured it out?
Walter seems to think we can get the dead guy to answer some questions.
Then we're on. I'll call you from the prison. 8 a.m. tomorrow, my time.
Saved by the cell phone ring.
Grateful to you, to the incredible cooking, and your sweet words.
He's like, damn it! So close.
Do you hear anything?
I think we gotta ask him a question first.
I see.
When I say go, you, Astro, ask Peter a question. I will flip the switch which will stimulate our naked friend's brain, and Peter, you will hear his response. 3, 2, 1, go!
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Anything?
Did I hear anything? No.
Wow, Peter is a brave dude.
They're taking me to see Jones now.
It's Olivia, they're taking her in.
No, we're not ready yet. No. Tell her she's got to stall.
Did you hear that?
I'll do what I can, but I've only got 14 minutes starting now.
So young. Fresh-faced.
What a pleasure this is.
We have your Mr. Smith in custody. You will not speak with him directly. You will ask me one question that you want answered. I will relay that question to an agent back in the States who will talk to Mr. Smith. I will then relay Mr. Smith's response to you. Then you will tell me how to save Agent Loeb. You must realize that you have leverage here. Yet all you want is the answer to one question.
Is that there is nothing more valuable than my freedom. The second is that I am responsible for the infection of Agent Loeb.
Ah.
Your own brain function is interfering with the process. You need to be a passive receiver. This is a sedative. It will numb your higher brain function. I've mixed it with a euphoria inhibitor.
Walter, what are you giving me?
Nothing for you to worry about. Perfectly harmless.
What is going on in here?
I'm doping my son.
What if someone wanted information from the both of us? What if you and I, both of us, at this very moment, were being manipulated?
By who? And what would they want?
If it is so urgent to save the life of your friend, why haven't we gotten on with it?
Oh, she's trying to be polite.
This can't possibly be scientific.
Peter, look at me.
Daddy?
He's in a euphoric state.
Hello?
Go, quick.
Go ahead, ask your question.
Ask my friend Jones. does the gentleman live?
3.
Mitchell!
The parasite in his bloodstream choking with oxygen. Asteroid, nitroglycerin, the vial on the desk. Could you give it a roll, please?
I'll call you back.
They gotta get the wife out of there.
Is that a problem?
My phone doesn't get the best reception in prison isolation cells.
She's so good.
You do have Mr. Smith, do you not?
I'm curious. Why do you think he would cooperate with you after you had him arrested?
Oh, the people I work with are loyal to the end. Can you say the same?
Hello?
Okay, we're trying again.
3, 2, 1, go.
Where does the gentleman live? Do you hear anything?
Astrid, I need the answer now.
Agent Dunham, it's not working.
He's gonna get it at the last minute.
Paper! Give me some paper! Quick, quick! I see something!
Wait, hold on.
On top of my head! Quickly!
The address. He's gonna write down the address.
What is that?
I have no idea.
It's the answer to the question. In some form, I guess.
Astrid, please, I have no time.
I know, you have to hold on, I'm sorry.
Astrid, please, hurry.
I don't understand.
It's just a conjecture, but the bullet may have destroyed that part of the brain that helps process horizontal lines. We are going to have to fill in the blanks.
Peter will figure it out, I guess.
Astrid, I have no time. I need the answer now! Astrid, please!
Little Hill.
Little Hill?
Little Hill!
3 parts mebendazole, 2 parts thermophytic hydrolase. A syringe directly into the parasite.
Walter, look. The roots. They're dying.
Is Mitchell gonna live? Is he gonna be okay?
You'll be fine.
Yes, my dear. I believe you will.
Thank you, Dr. Bishop.
That's another name they could have given this show. Nick of Time.
Something about the way he said it. It felt like he knew something.
Like what?
Something about my partner betraying the Bureau. I don't know.
You probably knew, John.
You know, I have other means of gathering information about Mr. Jones. If you'd like me to use them, say yes, Olivia. It'll give me an excuse to call you again.
Okay.
But while you were unconscious, we made a discovery. That an organization with connections to the pattern may have someone working with us on the inside. We thought that perhaps you were targeted because you might have discovered who that person was.
You're making me paranoid.
All I want to do is make you better.
Maybe it's him. Maybe he's the mole.
But what about answers? The question Jones asked Smith. And the response he got, Little Hill? We know that Agent Loeb was infected, but we don't know by whom. Jones says it wasn't him. We don't know anything.
What you did was save a man's life, but that doesn't land for you.
Sir,
I would tell you to snap the hell out of it. Stop whining about what you can't know, can't control, can't change. I would tell you to get some sleep while you can, because tomorrow we'll do this all over again, and guess what? You'll have 1,000,000 new answers and 1,000,001 new questions. I would tell you those things, but I won't. Because your dissatisfaction is what makes you so damn good. Someone I'm proud to say I work with.
What an interesting way to say all that. I hope we get more of a backstory on Broyles. He's a fascinating character.
Look at that.
yeah, look at that. back to Mr. Jones.
Did he ask the question? Did we get the answer?
They made that way too obvious. Way too obvious. But it's okay. Sometimes I need obvious, you know? Especially when everything else completely escapes me. I need obvious. Okay, I'm going to breeze through the episode a little bit. Pick a scene that's not too obvious. I'll go and pick that out right now. Just like the previous episodes, there's a lot going on in this one. So I think it's fair to say that after every reaction, there's only so much I can really articulate because there's only so much I've understood on my first watch. And I can't really guarantee that on the second watch I'll even understand all the details. And so I'm leaving it up to most of you who care to diligently break down each episode without spoiling my experience of understanding for future episodes. I leave it up to you to do so in the comment section. So in terms of the scene of the day, or scene that I've picked that I believe adds to my expanding mystery with this whole show, it has to be the end scene, because although I think that it was very obvious that Agent Loeb was likely the mole himself, I didn't expect his wife to be complicit. And the fact that she came into the room with Mr. Broyles, that actually surprises me, considering that they were trying to keep her away from her husband in the first place. And so it's just like, what made him bring her in the room to see her husband at that crucial point in time when they're doing all that testing, when Olivia didn't allow her to come beforehand? I may have missed a line that perhaps gave that away, so, correct me in the comment section as needed. But it just made it convenient for her to be there at the right place at the right time, to hear those mystery 2 words, Little Hill, and I look forward to seeing what that all means. So I think that scene is integral because not only does it, of course, add to this whole thing about the FBI having these moles, but it's going back to the pattern and whatever or whomever behind the scenes that is responsible for certain events related to the pattern. As it's noted in this episode, Mr. Jones plays a role himself. And for me, of course, that was great to see Mr. Jared Harris back in action in a TV show related to science fiction, considering that I've been recently watching him in other sci-fi properties. And another aspect of this show that I can't stop praising, because I just think it's so wonderfully done, and not just in performance, but also in dialogue. It's a credit to really good writing, and that's the dynamics between Peter and his father, Walter. Many of you have expressed that their relationship is such a special part of this show. And even if things get way too convoluted for me to understand personally, just with my limited understanding of certain things, I'm relieved that when it comes to the interpersonal relationships, not just with Peter and his father, but Peter and Olivia, Olivia and whoever else in her past that she's had romantic ties to, what thereof, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that unfolds in terms of character development and relationship development, just in a general sense. It's entertaining, and the way they present it is quite fun for me to watch. In any case, when it comes to my Ashamoji rating for this episode, I'm giving it a solid 5 out of 5. Yes, 5 Ashamojis. It is an excellent episode because it nailed every component that I'm looking for when it comes to being entertained with a television episode, and that is really, really good pacing. The pacing was just perfect. Great dialogue, and it also hit home on many levels. Like, there was more stuff revealed about Peter's past with his father, about Olivia's past with her, her romantic tastes. That's the best way I could put it. And of course, more revealed about the pattern, people involved, the moles now that they're trying to look for, which led to the reveal of Agent Loeb and his wife being a part of that whole plan. And of course, the new character there, Mr. Jones, played by the great Jared Harris. So much was jam-packed into this episode and nicely played out. Great mystery, excellent intensity. Overall, fantastic episode. So, there you have it. That is my reaction to episode 7 from the first season of Fringe. If you want early access to my full reactions to episodes of Fringe that I watch in a given week, Details about that is in the description box below, as well as details on how you can go about supporting this channel if you're not interested in being a club member, but you want to help me grow here on YouTube. I really appreciate it. So in the meantime, until my reaction to episode 8, I'm Asha, tuning out! Peace. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos.